To really take your Pinterest marketing to the next level, you need to take advantage of the Pinterest tag and Pinterest events. So let's get started by installing the Pinterest tracking tag on your website. Just log into your Pinterest business account and click the Ads tab in the top menu. In that drop-down, click Conversion Tracking. It's on this page, you'll click that Generate Pinterest Tag button. Okay, so our Pinterest tag has been created. Now it's time to install this base code on our website, so we can begin tracking visitors to our website and then build Pinterest audiences based off those visitors that we can then market to on Pinterest. So to set up our Pinterest tag, we need to add our base code, including our unique tag ID, to our website's header. Next, we want to install specific events or conversion actions that you want to track, such as checkout, add to cart, or any custom event you want to track. Then we'll want to check and make sure these events are working under our tag event history. So if you don't manage your own website, no worries. Just click this Send Instructions button to forward your Pinterest tag code onto your webmaster. But if you do manage your own site, just scroll down to this first option, number 1, Install Base Code. So installing the base code is the only requirement of this Pinterest tag. You'll add this base code to any page where you want to track conversions, whether that's page visits, all the way to purchases, and so on. If you want to really make use of Pinterest audiences and use retargeting and target specific URLs and specific events on your website, you need to add this code to every page of your website. So to do this, install your base code within the header of your website. This is between the head and the closing head tag in your specific HTML document. It should only appear once on a single page and before that event code. So you want your HTML to read first base code, then event code, and then content of your website. This is to make sure Pinterest actually tracks these event fires and collects these visitors. So just highlight this Pinterest tag base code, copy it, and then paste it into that head section of your website. So depending on who built the website, who the developer was, this head file will either be in the index.html file or the header.php file. But it all depends on how your website was built. But it's common in WordPress themes for the index.html file to point to the header.php file. So it's within your theme header file, that header.php file, that you'll find this closing head tag where you can paste this Pinterest tag base code before. So as you can see in this example, I click the editor option under the appearance menu on the back end of my WordPress website. I click the theme header file, header.php. Then I paste this Pinterest tag right before the closing head tag. So depending on the type of website you have, such as Weebly, Squarespace, and so on, just Google how to add Pinterest tag to XYZ website. Since I installed this in my WordPress theme header file, I don't need to install this on every page. Since I know my specific theme, the header appears on every page. Therefore, this base code is tracking every page of my website. Now that we have the Pinterest base code installed on our website, we have the option to go one step further and track specific events or specific conversions and then create audiences based on that website traffic. So if you scroll down further on this Pinterest tag page, you will see the second step, which, like I said, is optional. But by adding these following snippets of coding to specific pages on your website, you can track these specific event conversions. There's a variety of types of events you can track with Pinterest. Everything from page visits to view category, to search, to add to cart, to checkout, to watch video, to sign up, to lead, or even custom. So you only want to add event codes to pages where you want to track specific conversions. And remember, the base code must run before the event code. So base code first in that head section, then paste in that event code below that base code. For example, a checkout happens when your site loads the checkout confirmation page. In this case, you should add the base code and then the checkout event code below that between those head tags for that specific page. This placement ensures the code runs as soon as the page loads. So here's an example of how your raw HTML coding will look for your checkout page. Notice all the Pinterest tag coding occurs before this closing head tag. So we first paste in that Pinterest tag base code with our unique ID. Then below that, we paste in our specific event code that correlates to this specific page, the checkout confirmation page. So as you can see, I've used this specific checkout event code as I want to track this specific conversion on my website so I can remarket to customers who have made a purchase from me in the past. This is a great event to track. So just copy and paste your Pinterest event code for checkout and paste it before that closing head tag on this checkout confirmation page of your website. Just remember, event codes after the base codes. You always want that event code to fire after the base code. So if you're not advanced in coding, no worries. Since you have the Pinterest base code installed in that header, it's firing on every page. So you can simply paste your specific Pinterest event code right on that actual page in the body text boxes themselves. This wouldn't be my first choice in coding, obviously, because pages read from the header down. The body will load a little bit later, right? But this option works, and I advise it for all my clients that don't want to do that advanced coding. So as you can see, I have the text editor option selected, not the visual, on my WordPress checkout confirmation page. So now in the body of this page, at the top, I'll paste in this Pinterest event code for checkout. Then I click update or publish, and I'll paste that URL directly into another browser tab to fire that event tag. So now we come back to our Pinterest tag page, and now we'll just click that See History link to confirm our Pinterest events are working. Now as you can see, I tracked one event for the checkout event code. Now finally, number 3 is the Pinterest tag helper. If you're unsure if you installed the Pinterest tag correctly, you can use this Chrome browser extension to test your tag. You can see if you properly set it up and see if it's successfully passing the correct info and intended event data back to your Pinterest account. Now let's just click the Done button. Now as you can see, our Pinterest tag was installed correctly on our website as the status is marked green, verified. To pull data about our Pinterest tags and events, just click this Export Data button. Select which campaign types, conversion types, attribution windows you want to view over a specific date range. Keep in mind, when selecting your attribution window for tag reports, the click attribution window must be greater than or equal to the engagement attribution window. The engagement attribution window must also be greater than or equal to the view attribution window. Once you're ready and you have all the metrics selected you want to view, just click that Export button. So why install this Pinterest tag? All of it comes back to creating advanced visitor audiences of people who visited certain pages on your website or took specific actions on your website. So to get to our audiences, just click the Ads option in the top left, and in that drop-down, select Audiences. Once on your Audiences page, just click the Create Audience button. So for this example, I want to create an audience based on our Pinterest tag, which is collecting all the visitors to our website for all the various URLs and various events we've installed. I like creating audiences of visitors to my website as this is a warm audience. They've already seen my brand, they've seen my logo. they've read my site's content. These visitors will be more receptive to me retargeting and marketing to them again. So you know we've all experienced this. We've gone to a website, then we close the window, we come back the next day, maybe on Pinterest or Facebook, and you see that brand in front of you. That's a retargeting ad. It's because they have this pixel, they have this Pinterest tag installed, tracking all visitors and creating audiences that they then retarget ads to. Because why? Because you are a warm audience and more likely to take an action on their website, make that purchase, download that free ebook, and so on. So in this pop-up, select visitors who went to your site and then click that next button. So now you can create your visitor audience based on your Pinterest tag data. First, name your audience and give it an exact description. Name it so you can quickly identify this exact audience when you want to target it in Pinterest ads later. So I've named this audience specific to my course traffic on CourseEnvy.com. This will be a great audience to retarget for course sales later on. Next, we set how long we want to store these visitors. Typically, the warmer the audience, or more recent the visit, the better. I know some people who build audiences that are months old. But to me, I see a better response, a better conversion rate for warm audiences. But this is an area you can test. So you could create this audience twice and split test at this day's duration. So in the past X days, I typically set this to the past 15 days for e-commerce, since product research and purchases usually happen pretty quickly online. Then I use 30 days as the default for any other website traffic audience. Finally, I set the URL for the traffic I want to collect for the specific visitor audience. You can do a variety of things here to capture your specific audience, such as URL equals an exact URL. Or if you want to collect all the traffic except for one page, use the does not equal URL option. Or say you have an e-commerce store with multiple product categories and you only want to build an audience around one category, say boots. If boots is in the product category name and appears in the URL for every boot product, you can simply type in the word boot with the option URL contains. So it just contains that keyword. Now, if the opposite is true, say you want to target everything but boots, just select the does not contain keyword boots. Now, besides URL, we also have the option to select specific events we want to create an audience around if we want. For my e-commerce clients, I love to create event-based visitor audiences targeting past customers via the checkout Pinterest event. You can really use events and URLs interchangeably when creating these audiences. Now we could add another filter if we want to further narrow this audience down. But this audience is what I was looking for, so now we can just click that create button. Now we need to give our audience a few days to curate and build up based on traffic to our website. We can target this audience via Pinterest ads once this audience size reaches 100 visitors or greater. As you can see, when I create a Pinterest ad, I now have the option to target my custom audience under this second step, Ad Group Details. I can either include or exclude these visitor audiences I've created.